You might not know this about me, but I am a crazy competitive person. Like, of all the people around me, I'm probably the most competitive, and I would fight to prove that point. That's how competitive I am. I pretty much grew up on the soccer field every weekend playing games, and while I wasn't the guy who put up the most scoring numbers or anything, you could bet money that I was going to be the hardest worker on that field, because I love to win. I love to win so much that I would give my all to make that happen, which sounds like a really good trait to have, and it is in a lot of ways, but it also is a bit of a double-edged sword. The motivation to win didn't come from a very healthy place. It wasn't about achieving a goal or being successful. It was out of a fear and hatred of losing. The reason why I work so hard on the sports field and then in other areas of my life is because I hate to lose so much. The feeling of not being the winner, the one that has to watch somebody else win, that's what motivated me, that humiliation feeling. And I can honestly say that for the first 20 years of my life, that's what motivated me to do everything that I did. There was a point in time right before my sophomore year in high school where I kind of sat down and started thinking about it. I had just, the year before, played on the freshman soccer team, and I sat on the bench for most of the year because I was very small and they didn't put me in the game very often. And that was a humiliating feeling, week in and week out, to sit on the bench and watch my teammates play, and at that point it became a competition between me and my teammates, a competition that I was losing. So I sat down right before my sophomore year and I asked myself, are you having fun with this? And the answer was no. So I stopped playing, and I started exploring other outlets that were more creative and performative, and I enjoyed it. I had so much fun doing it. But then that became a competition, literally, because it was a competitive environment that I was entering in. I was doing competitive public speaking, speech and debate, forensics, whatever you want to call it, because it confuses people, the different names that you use. And by the time I had gotten to my junior or senior year, I was very successful in this environment, competitively, very, very successful. But still, I wanted to win so badly, not because I wanted to win, but because I didn't want to lose. I was at a point in my life where second place equaled losing. And that is not a nice place to be, because second place is so not losing. It's second place. So I did that for a while, but about a year and a half ago, I came to a realization about myself and competition that is really significant, I feel like, for the rest of my life. And that's that competition is really not healthy for me. And what I mean by that is not that competition is inherently bad, but for me, when the focus is on not losing instead of winning, that's really, really bad. At that point, it's super easy to get down on yourself, and your attitude is ruined, and your mood is ruined, and it almost becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, because part of winning is the confidence going into whatever competitive environment that you're going into. To the point that if you lose, it's almost like a, here we go again with this losing thing again, and it becomes something that happens repeatedly because you're just not confident in that thing anymore. And the solution that I found to this problem is to attack it by being relentlessly positive. Obviously, I'm doing YouTube now. There's a lot of competitive aspects to YouTube. There is a numbers game that is played. And the best way to combat this that I found is to just love it. To just do it because I'm loving it, not because I'm trying to reach a certain number or I'm trying to pass a certain channel in views or subscribers or something like that. Just to do it because I love it. And obviously the numbers are still a thing. I have signs representing big milestones, but at the same time it has to be an individual thing. You can't be comparing yourself all the time to other people, because when you do that, you're your harshest critic. You're never going to be honest with yourself about certain situations and where you stack up against other people. So those are my thoughts about competition. Not that competition is a bad thing, but that it can be a bad thing when you're focused on the winning and the losing rather than the competing part of it. Because the value of competition isn't in the end result, it's in what goes on to get to that end result. And of course, I would love to hear what you guys have to think about all this stuff, as I love to read comments. A lot. I read all of them, by the way. For those who don't know, I do read all my comments, because there's some people who are like, oh, you're never gonna read this, and I'm like, I do. I read all of it. So yeah, as always, I'm Connor Manning. You've just become a little more awesome, and I will see you guys on Friday. I do not feel well. I'm just gonna slither away. Maybe go sleep a bit. That's what I'm gonna do. Yep. Bye. Oh man, I'm on the floor. Oh, I'm laying on the floor. This is a nice floor. Why have I never noticed how nice this floor is?